Alright, so let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes beginners make in the gym, in my opinion, and how to fix them. These are the things I've seen over the years of training people, and if you're new to lifting, fixing these things now might save you months, maybe even years of wasted time. However, if you've been lifting for a while, they might explain why your progress has stalled. With that being said, let's go into mistake 1. First mistake I see beginners make is thinking you need to train 5 or 6 days a week from the start. And I get it, the gym feels fresh, you're motivated, and 5 or 6 sessions sounds amazing. I mean, our instinct is usually the more is better, right? But here's the thing, as a beginner, your real challenge isn't about pushing yourself to the absolute limit. It's really about showing up consistently and building that habit. Sure, maybe 5 or 6 days a week might work for a week or 2, but then life catches up. Work, family, school, the usual stuff. Suddenly, it starts to feel overwhelming. The gym stops being fun and becomes a chore. You might miss a session here or there, and momentum drops. Before you know it, you've given up altogether. The truth is, beginners don't actually need huge amounts of training. Your muscles and nervous system need time to adjust and adapt to the stress of lifting. So just 2 or 3 solid sessions a week is more than enough. Since beginners' muscles need less stimulus to grow, it lowers the chance of burnout and massively increases the likelihood that you might actually stick with it. Plus, it's easier to fit into your week. A few days is doable. Every day, not so much. At the end of the day, consistency beats intensity in the early stages. Focus on establishing the habit first, and then once it's there, you can start scaling up, whether that's the weights you use or the program. If you're in your late teens or early 20s with energy and time, 4 days max works. I'd recommend the upper-lower split. The upper body on Monday and Thursday with the lower body on Tuesday and Friday. The other days are for rest and recovery. Next up is going to the gym without a plan. I spent 6 years working at Leisure Centre doing gym inductions, which was mostly with beginners, and sometimes I do several in a single shift. And almost every time I saw the same thing happen. They might jump on an exercise bike for a few minutes, maybe try a couple of random machines, and try out some free weights that they'd seen online. Then they'd head home. Now, let me be clear, it's not laziness. Beginners don't just know how to put a plan together. They don't know their favorite exercises yet, and often they just copy what they've seen or stick with what feels comfortable and familiar. The problem is, without a plan, you're not tracking anything. You're not aiming for a specific goal, you're just going through the motions. And from what I've seen, those are the people who quit the fastest. Without a clear goal, it's hard to see any progress. And without progress, motivation really dries up. But here's the good news. Your plan doesn't need to be complicated at all. Just 2 or 3 full body workouts a week with fixed exercises, reps and weights is plenty to get you moving forward. The key is knowing exactly what you're doing the moment you walk in. And every session should build on your last, so you know you're always heading in the right direction. Here's a simple way to structure it. Start with the hard, demanding lifts, like the squats, presses and rows. Anything that hits the big muscles really and burns the most energy. Then move on to the smaller muscle groups, like the arms or calves or other isolation exercises. This order just makes sense. You get the most work done before the real fatigue sets in. Aim for around 10 to 15 reps per exercise with 2 to 3 sets. Keep the weight light enough so you can focus on your form and get comfortable in the gym. Once you feel confident enough and strong enough, you can start increasing the weight and dropping the reps, maybe down to 8 to 12. The third big mistake is not having a progression scheme. You can't just rock up to the gym and expect to get bigger or stronger by chance, which does happen if you're lucky. However, progress is about gradually challenging your body over time, consistently, week after week. Too often, people just throw more weight on the bar without thinking, or they stick with the same weight forever, simply because they're not tracking anything. One simple and effective method is called the double progression system. Here's how it works. Pick a rep range, let's just say 8 to 12 reps. Once you hit 12 reps with good form, increase the weight for your next session and drop it back down to 8 reps. Then you build back up to 12 again. And repeat the cycle. Tracking your progress like this does more than keep you honest. It actually shows you clear improvements over time. And seeing that progress, that's incredibly motivating. It gives you a real push to keep going and challenge yourself harder in the gym. Make it a habit to track your workouts, whether it's in a notebook, notes on your phone, or from a specific app. This keeps you consistent and accountable. This isn't about flashy lifts or chasing big numbers quickly. It's about steady, sustainable progress, the kind that lasts. On the other hand, if you're just guessing or wandering from machine to machine, not counting your sets, reps, or tracking your weights, it's very easy to feel lost. You won't see your progress clearly, and eventually you'll start asking yourself, why am I even doing this? And that's when people give up. Progress isn't just about numbers on a barbell, form counts too. Take the shoulder press, for example. When you start, you might only bring your elbows down to 90 degrees. As you get stronger, you can gradually increase the range, lowering your elbows closer to your torso. Even if the weight hasn't changed, you're still making progress. So that's it, the 3 biggest mistakes beginners make and how to avoid them. Keep it simple, don't overwhelm yourself with too many sessions, and always have a plan. Remember, building the physique you want, the kind that lasts and looks great, isn't about rushing or chasing shortcuts. It's about steady, consistent effort over time. A bit of patience and a smart approach will get you there. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate a like. Hit subscribe for more practical training advice. And if you've got any questions or topics you want me to cover, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time.